prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this morning. Thank you for safe travels for everyone here. Thank you for the families that have joined us, the families that are supporting us back home. Thank you for all the special interests. Thank you for all the advocates come here. May they continue to push forward information and may help us make good decisions. Continue to help us remember what's important in this world, to help create a future for those we love so much, and just continue to provide us a light that if we follow in this world, that everything works out for your will. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Clerk, please call the roll. Here.
Representative Hill. Representative Drummond. Here. Representative Baker. Here. Representative Chestnut.
Here.
Representative Collins. Representative Colvin. Representative Crowe. Representative Daniels. Representative Ellis. Representative Faulkner. Representative Lawrence. Representative Lovern. Representative Paramore. Representative Stubbs. 11 members and 12.
Thank you. It's unusual that we meet the first week of the second day of session, but this is we're on a fast track here. We have a 3-day week, so we're going to consider some bills today. First, I want to welcome everybody to our committee. Welcome back for the session. I want to especially welcome 2 new members to our committee. Representative Paramore, we know. Tell us where your district and where you're from, and a little bit about yourself.
I represent District 89, which is all of Pike and North and West Dale County, and it's the home of Troy University. So used to lobby for the university for 20 years prior to being elected this past time, and looking forward to working on the committee and being on the team. So thank you.
I'm looking forward to you being on the other side of that lobbying.
Yes, sir. It's a lot more fun on this side, believe me. Thank you.
And I also want to congratulate Representative Norman Crowe from Tuscaloosa. By the way, Representative Paramore is taking the seat that Representative Debbie Wood formerly held. Representative Crowe is replacing Representative Cynthia Almond, who's now the Public Service Commission president. You're from Tuscaloosa. Welcome. You won your election yesterday, so he was sworn in today. Now you'll be sworn at, so that's fine. But go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Oh, sorry. House District 63, which is Tuscaloosa and a part of Northport, Alabama. I represent the University of Alabama, and also Shelton State Community College is in our town. So I'm excited to be here and looking forward to working with everybody.
And you serve on the Tuscaloosa City Council, is that correct?
Yes, sir, until today.
Okay, great. Okay, well, welcome both these guys. Glad to have you on the committee. Looking forward to your participation and your insight. Would like to welcome any special guest. Any member have a visitor today you want to recognize? I would like to any pages to recognize. Okay, at the appropriate time we will do that when they're here. I would like to recognize our intern for our committee this session. Please stand, Ty Tolbert. He's a student at Auburn University, majoring in agricultural business and economics, minor in finance. Hometown is Dothan, Alabama, and he's already really pitched in, so welcome, Ty. Glad to have you here. One of our former interns, Grace Heim, is now sitting at the speaker's dais, so that's good. So you can go places from here. I want to take just a minute, since we have some new members, just to take a minute to read the committee guidelines again so people will understand. This is one of the more committees that requires a lot of work, and we also require a lot of attention to detail. We just heard some budget presentations. We're going to need to conduct ourselves appropriately. So number one, just make sure you look at the dates, times, and locations of the meeting announcements. Karen Cheeks, who's our committee manager, is really good at keeping you informed, but she will please look at those and notice they're subject to change, so just try to stay abreast of that. We'll start our meetings promptly on time. We'll follow procedural rules and conduct ourselves in an orderly manner. I will call upon you when there's questions in the order that I see your hand raised. Everyone will have their chance to speak, but that's the way we'll go. We'll generally allow as much time for discussion as committee members need and as time permits, but we try to be very open and transparent in our committee meetings. If you need to schedule presentations or meetings, please inform Karen Cheeks of and she will handle the request for you. Bill sponsors can contact my office, Karen, to request bills to be placed on the agenda. We have a list. We sort through those, and we have 3 today. We'll make those decisions. Usually try to notify you on Friday before the next week what will be on the calendar. I do have an open door. I encourage you to come by and chat with me anytime, and I want to hear your thoughts. We want amendments and substitutes to the committee to be given to us in advance so that we can have a chance to disseminate them. Typically, if we get a substitute, we want it a day before. Today, I'm making an exception because we're doing a 3-day week, second day. So I think we have a substitute and the amendment today. Typically, if we have that, if we want to carry it over, we can. But if we're comfortable with today, with what we're going to see, then I think we just move those bills. But typically, we're going to require substitutes, especially, be delivered in advance. Motions for including a roll call must include a second. So if anybody has a motion, we have a second. The purpose of this committee is a forum for thoughtful policy debate and informed decision-making, not for political statements or speeches. We do not have grandstanding in the committee. We're doing our work. We work together. We want to be collaborative. So just please keep that in mind and maintain that type of decorum. We do want to ensure transparency, fairness, and efficiency in reviewing and advancing legislation. The one requirement that we're required as a legislature to do is to pass budgets. And this is the larger budget. And so this is our constitutional responsibility. We take it seriously. I encourage respectful engagement and ask that you listen actively, speak courteously, and always maintain professionalisms to foster a constructive environment. And please hold me to those very same standards, and I'm serious about that. So with that, I want to recognize my ranking member, Representative Drummond. Do you have anything you would like to say?
Welcome and get on board. Paramore is on this committee. Oh, God.
Some of our other committee members, Vice Chair Kill, others have other meetings today, so that's why they're not here. So with that being said, let's begin our business. Clerk, please call the first bill.
House Bill 87 by Representative Sells.
Representative Sells, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you working with me today. It was kind of out of my control, but I appreciate your help. And I want to also apologize for bringing y'all a corny bill here this morning. So what this bill does is, I was in a local farm store several months back, and they was telling me about the problem they had. They get sales tax audits, and we've a lot of us been through sales tax audits where they sell corn. Well, somebody comes in and buys some corn for their cattle or their goats or whatever, it's exempt. Someone comes in and buys a bag of corn for deer, it's not exempt. So they have a difficult time trying to decide, who's buying it for what. So this just basically clears this up and says, hey, it's a bag of corn. We're not real broad on this. And so it was exempt the sales tax on corn bought to feed deer along with the other livestock. And it includes only corn. And it follows the new rule we put in place where it's just estate taxes. If there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Okay, so we have a substitute bill,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Explain your substitute, please.
Yes, sir, I just did. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So the first bill did not follow the guideline about exempt all the taxes. So we went back and changed it to where it just exempts the state taxes.
Just the state tax. So typically as a committee, for the new members, typically will maybe provide tax exemptions for state taxes with the opportunity for locals to opt in rather than mandate those local taxes. Now, does this have an opt-in provision in your substitute?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions, Representative Coleman?
Did the original bill, was it all deer feed and the subs corn? Does it define just corn?
Yes,
Okay.
Representative Chestnut?
Yes, this is, I would imagine that this would be just a really, really small, infinitesimal impact on the, on our proceeds that we're taking in each year, right?
Yeah, the fiscal note on this bill, I think, says it's non-determinable, but Dustin, do you have any thoughts or comments?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We weren't able to determine find any data sources that were related directly to this. And there also may be the issue out there of some of these may maybe being taxed, already to the sponsor's point. So, but we weren't able to find any data specific to the corn.
But intuitively, it should not be a large number to the budget. Other questions? So, Representative Collins?
Well, and I think you answered this because my biggest question before I got here was just why are we doing this? And so a lot of the corn is already exempt.
For livestock.
So they're having to actually ask who's it for. Is that right? So it's just to simplify that process.
It's hard, yeah. So then how do they prove? So it creates a burden on all the parties, the farm stores, the revenue, and everybody that goes there trying to decide, okay, so you sold 5 tons of corn. Okay, now they got to figure out, okay, was it livestock, deer, how much, whatever. So this just
Well, let the city boy ask a question, okay? So I go in and buy the corn for the goats and the corn for the deer is the same corn?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if they're telling the truth, then they get exempt.
Well, and I don't think it's their policy to make you swear to what you buy that bag of corn for.
Yeah, gotcha. Any other questions? I think we need to adopt the sub, right?
Chairman, I make a motion we adopt the substitute.
Motion to adopt a sub by Representative Stubbs, second by Representative Baker. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Bill's given a favorable
Thank you,
report.
Mr. Chairman.
As substituted. Did I mention I want y'all to call me out? Okay. So we just adopted the sub. So now we'd like to give is there a motion for favorable report? Representative Lovern says for favorable report. Second. Representative Baker, second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Thank you, committee.
Bill's as substitute given the favorable report. Thank you. Clerk, please call the next bill.
House Bill 96 by Representative Pringle.
Pro Tem, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. It was brought to me by some bankruptcy lawyers and a bankruptcy judge. What this bill does, it raises in bankruptcy for senior citizens, elderly, they're on fixed income, and disabled people, it raises their homestead exemption. That way, when they come out of bankruptcy, chances are they won't go into foreclosure against their house. They see a lot of instances where elderly and disabled are losing their houses in bankruptcy and foreclosure. We're just trying to protect them.
So this bill says it increases the homestead exemption to $56,400. What is it currently?
I think it's 15,000.
15,000.
Yeah. But it's only for elderly and the disabled and elderly on a fixed income.
Any Representative Collins?
Pro Tem, I had a question on line 57. Is it and or as far as elderly and disabled or elderly or disabled? I saw it both ways. One was just in the synopsis, though.
It's saying 62 years of age or older or an individual with disability.
So
I don't know why they put 62.
in the bill.
I don't know why they put 62 of age or older, but it's 62.
You saw in the synopsis the difference that you saw?
I think the synopsis said and. And the difference would be they had to be both.
Well, they could be 62 on a limited
It is
income, or
looking
they
like
could
that.
be disabled.
Dustin, do you see what do you?
It's just the synopsis. I don't know if that matters.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. The bill is drafted where it's either set of individuals would enjoy the exemption. I think the synopsis is just not quite as clear as.
Do we care that the synopsis doesn't need to be changed?
I think the synopsis could be read for the same meaning there.
Okay.
But I do see the.
Okay. Any other questions? Representative Drummond?
I'd like to move to give the bill a favorable report.
Motion in favor report, Representative Drummond.
Second.
Second, Representative Chestnut. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Bill's given a favorable report. Thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
And clerk, please call the next bill.
House Bill 28 by Representative Brown.
Representative Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, this is House Bill 28. What this does is it creates a recycling tax credit for oyster shells. And if you follow my area, oyster shells, the oyster seasons have been short because our oysters are not getting regenerated on the wild reefs. And so what this does, it creates a program for restaurants to donate their oyster shells back, and they get a tax credit, which is $1 per 50 pounds that they donate back. It's capped at 100,000 total for the program. It's maxed out at 2,000 per restaurant or per individual. So,
Any questions? Representative Drummond?
Representative Brown, this sounds real intriguing. What, when you recycle them, what do you use the recycled material for?
well, what you do, they found out, if you remember years ago, they used to scrape the bottoms and dig up all those oyster shells, and then they used them for driveways and roads, Old Shell Road, that sort of thing. But what happened over the years, they found out that those oyster shells that are left there, they regenerate. New oysters will cling to the old oyster shells on the bottom and regenerate the reefs. So Auburn University has a program down there that they're the one of the approved recyclers or approved programs through ACD&R. And what they do is they take those oyster shells, and they actually have growers that grow oysters in baskets under your pier. Auburn will come and take those, and the whole purpose being that they put those oyster shells back on the reefs. They clean them and bleach them out so they don't have any contaminants on them. And then they put them back on the reef, and then wild oysters, which when they're young, they're called spat, will cling to those shells and then grow new oysters on top of it. So it's a way they do it in other states as well. It's just a way to regenerate oyster growth and,
So the restaurants are taking the oyster shells and putting them back in the water? Is that
Right, that's right. Yeah, you give them to, say, like an Auburn that runs a program down there, and then through that, they take them out and put them on where they know the reefs are or where they have reefs they're trying to get going again. And over the years, it's estimated we've lost up to 90% of our wild reefs in Mobile Bay and Mississippi Sound.
Representative Drummond?
So it'll help us to rebuild our oyster beds in South Alabama.
Exactly, which provides clarity in the water and, helps grow new oysters so that you can go to the oyster bar and buy Alabama oysters.
Which is so needed.
It is, helps the economy.
Do other states, Mississippi and Florida, do they have the same similar provision?
Pretty much all your coastal states have some type program where they're trying to regenerate their oyster. It's not just an Alabama problem. It's a problem nationwide, really.
Any other questions?
And I believe there's an amendment also.
So the bill, as I see, it seems like there's a sunset then in 2030.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And tell us about the fiscal note, Dustin.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. There was some information that there's an organization that already is involved in this, and they had data about restaurants that were already participating in this similar type setup. I'm trying to see if I have the name of it right here and who it's operated by. But there's already an entity that does this kind of thing. Let me see if I have Alabama Coastal Foundation's Oyster Shell Recycling Program. So they had data about this, about how many, 26 restaurants, it looks like currently, and that's where the data on the number of pounds that have been recycled. So this was for 2025, the 2025 year. We extrapolated that data out using that information from.
And can you explain how the credit would actually work, the tax credit would actually work, like how much, and
Sure. So if you look at the bill, so it's structured, what there is, it's an income tax credit, and then it would depend on what type of filer it is, if it would be a corporate or individual. There is two different types of a cap. One would be, it's just, there's a per person cap or a per filer cap of $2,000. The amount of the credit is based on how many pounds you recycle. It's $1 per every 50 pounds. And then there is a per program cap of $100,000 a year of credits that can be claimed. It's first come, first serve. The rest of the bill, pretty much the whole third page of the bill, is really getting into the weeds on how the Department of Revenue would handle the actual claiming of the credit when it comes to corporations and things like that. So it's really the minutia of how that's done. And then, as you've already mentioned, there is a 5-year sunset or a 5-year program window for this income tax credit. That's pretty much the highlights of it.
And the fiscal note was
$52,000 annually to reduction to the ETF.
Yeah, we have an amendment. Who has the amendment? Representative Colvin, you have the amendment?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The summary of this amendment, it adds that individuals will also be eligible to get the tax credit, not just restaurants. We have a technical piece in here from the Department of Revenue on how they'll administer the tax credit, and then it bumps the window of the credit from tax year 26 to 30, and we're bumping that to tax year 27 through 31, and that's the amendment.
Okay. Is any second to the amendment? Seconded by Representative Baker. All in favor of the amendment, please say aye. All opposed? Representative Chestnut?
Doesn't Louisiana have something like this?
Yeah, they have, they're very aggressive in Louisiana on their restoration efforts. They have a program similar to this, and then they spend considerable amount of money more than we do in Alabama to do that. But we're making all the efforts we can.
Okay. That's all I have.
We have a motion on the bill as amended.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion and
Okay.
give the bill a favorable report as
Okay.
amended.
Okay, Representative Baker makes a motion. Representative Drummond makes a second. Any questions, comments? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? Bill's given a favorable report as amended. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members.
So members, a couple of things just to let you know, give you information. We received the governor's budget, as you know, last night. We did get kind of a sneak preview yesterday afternoon, but I have not been through the details. At some point, when we get spreadsheets, we'll be handling that out. I'll be meeting with you individually, and we'll be talking about what's there. Of course, the education budget starts in the House. We're doing 3-day weeks. And what I told somebody last night, that means that this time next week I'll be 3 days behind, because that burning these days puts the budget pressure on the budgets. But Chairman Orr and I have been working together, discussing and talking about things in advance. And we met together yesterday with Representative Poole, Director Poole. So anyway, that'll be forthcoming. Outcome-based education, we'll be looking to get a draft bill to the committee soon. And again, this bill is just for the beginnings of discussion. So once you get the bill, then all the education community will get the bill, and we'll start having discussions about what to go. But nothing's been decided, nothing's etched in stone. We're going to need to have a lot of discussion, input on that. We did, you heard Dr. Poole allude to that this morning, but we have set aside funds in our our Education Opportunity Reserve Fund for transformational educational programs, Choose That being one, Raise That the other. Outcome-based funding is the third. So we do have the funding for this, but we have a lot of decisions to make. Nothing's been decided currently, but that will happen pretty soon. Any comments or questions from any member? All right, hearing none, we'll stand adjourned. Thank you.